What's going on, guys? Indy here with Ultimate Tool Reviews. Now I've got a fun little tool here for you. It's going to be a rotary tool by a brand called Hardell. Now when you think of rotary tools, you kind of think of, the Dremel stuff. And I remember growing up in the early 2000s and remembering, all the Dremel commercials, how it's like, the ultimate tool, it does everything. And they're kind of fun to watch, but it's funny nowadays when it comes to a Dremel, I feel like you either really, really love them and use them a lot, or you don't use them at all. So it's kind of fun really to see, who uses them still, who doesn't use them still. I really don't use them too much for a lot of things. I have a few small projects I like to use them for, but my wife uses them a ton for some of the stuff she does. And it's kind of interesting because she actually uses one of the Ryobi ones that has a battery plug into the base, and then it has a little cord to it and it goes to the smaller little head. Now Hardell has found kind of a way here to kind of give you the best of both worlds. So let's pop this thing open and check it out. Alright, here we go with the box opened. Now it's a pretty standard rotary tool. Of course it has a ton of power here, being able to plug in. It's a pretty decent size, here's my hand on it. It's got some nice, chunkiness too, which is pretty nice. Let's plug it in and hear it on for right now. Got a decent sized cord on here. I'm kind of in the camp here when it comes to these cords. I kind of like them right around the shorter length. If I need them longer, I'll throw an extension cord on and kind of go from there. So we've got a nice little bit of speed adjustment here. And let's see, does this dial? Nope, doesn't lock into the numbers here. So you have some minor adjustments there in between those, which is pretty nice. All right, we got the power switch just below here. I wish I kind of had one of those, covered power switches here, as things do get pretty dusty with these tools. They do get a lot of dust and dirt in them. That is nice and quiet. Sometimes these can get a little noisy. Let's see how this thing sounds at maximum speed there. Oh wow. That's actually not at all much louder. Let's see if I can adjust this down. I'll start at max speed. Let's adjust down from there and see how the noise changes there. There's speed 1. It's actually quite impressive. This thing is actually pretty quiet. Actually probably like one of the quietest ones that I've heard to date. You can barely hear that speed change with the motor. That's actually pretty nice. So RPM is going to be 8,000 to 35,000 here. Rated power is 160 watts. This, of course, is going to be the standard 1/8 collet here. So right up here, you can see you can make those adjustments with this collet. You hold down the little button there, and you can adjust that collet in and out. All right, and a lot of these toolkits always come with a variety pack of accessories. It's funny with these accessories, it's kind of like printer ink, where I feel like if you just buy a whole nother tool and you get these accessories, a lot of times it's cheaper than just buying the accessory kit by itself. Of course, unless you buy them on Amazon, which you can buy these things just dirt cheap, and there's so many to choose from. They're actually pretty nice there. So all these accessories in here, the little sanding pads, little fine bits in here, little buffing pads. Great selection in here, just kind of get you going. We do have a little shield here, which I like this little touch here. I've actually never seen these in any of the Dremels that I've bought. So you can add this on, which is going to be pretty cool. And I think this is just going to be, a screw on here. So you can kind of put that so you can still work and see what you're doing without, worrying about a lot of dust and debris coming towards you. Of course, still wear safety glasses, even while using this. But you can definitely have stuff, not hitting your face. You don't need to actually wear a face shield while you're using one of these. Now, here's a really cool feature of this tool. I mentioned earlier about having these tools, when they're cordless. This is pretty bulky here. You don't want to be sitting like that trying to do this all day. It's a lot of stuff sitting here, kind of going up in your face. It's kind of annoying. But when you use one of the smaller ones, like the Ryobi battery-powered ones, they have a much smaller head on them. So check this out. This one actually comes with a full extension here. And it's got a lot of cord on here. So I can just set this thing down somewhere else. And I can then just use this smaller head here. And what I like about this little head here, it's got a number of little grips here that I can grab onto. So it's got a triple grip here, or I can get another one that's going to be a little bit closer there and really get precision there. So that is really, really nice to have. Only downside to this, of course, is that the whole shaft is through this cord here. So there's still going to be a bit of weight in here. It's not ultra light. But by having this there, you can then have the best of both worlds really on all of one unit, which is actually pretty cool. So let's get this thing popped on over and see how that works. All right, so to do it, it's actually super easy. You just hold down the shaft lock here, you unscrew this plastic cap that comes right off. All right, so make sure you get that chuck inside the extension there, nice and tight. Then you're gonna put that overshield on, and that just screws on really nicely, super easy to use there. And then we can use the extension here with no problem. Now, only downside to this is you're going to get some of that vibration coming through here because there is a solid shaft running through this. So that's the only downside I would say to using this. But for how cheap this thing, I think it's like 40 bucks on Amazon right now. This is a pretty handy little tool here to really allow you to get into a lot of those tricky spots with a rotary tool. And if you're looking for, of course, a corded one, and maybe if I'm, let's say, looking for the battery operated ones, they don't necessarily need to use these where you can't really get, a cord to. But this is actually a really handy little feature here that I think is quite cool. Definitely gonna be using this in the future, and I think it's overall a fantastic little tool. I really want to test out the longevity of this. It seems pretty well made. Definitely seems like it's got some heft to it and some weight to it. And overall, I think it's a great little kit. It comes with a nice hard case as well. So guys, thanks to Hardell for sponsoring this video. And I think this is definitely a pretty cool little unit here. So I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check it out on Amazon, guys. And take care. Have a great day.